Well, thank you, Amy, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Tara McLeod. I'm the management consultant here with Clarus Tax Technologies. Um, I'm excited to introduce one of our solutions, AkuCert, but I'm sure there's a few of you out there that are asking yourself, who is Clarus? So simply put, Clarus delivers a cost-effective tax compliance automation that's backed by services and supporting businesses that they deserve. So Clarus was founded in 2018 by tax professionals who previously worked in sales tax advisory. So the focus was to provide a solution that is tailored and customized to a client's specific tax needs versus a rigid out-of-the-box solution. So our teams built Clarus Tax Technologies after seeing the gaps of other solution providers, which were built by software engineers versus the sales tax professionals. So we think of ourselves really as an extension to their tax team. So Clarus provides an automated tax compliance solution that has pre-built integrations with Microsoft systems, so like GP, Business Central, F&O, to name a few, as well as other ERP, e-commerce, and billing and accounting systems. So we do offer 4 products. AkuCalc. This calculates the correct sales tax rate during the transactions by applying the product's specific tax rules and really keeping those rates updated across the 13,000 plus US tax jurisdictions, as well as Canada. AkuCert, this is what we're going to talk about in the demonstration, so we'll review deeper onto the next slide. And then AkuLicense, as organizations grow across the jurisdictions, business licensing requirements become increasingly difficult to manage manually. So the AkuLicense provides a centralized system to really track the registrations, the renewals, deadlines, and the compliance obligations. So really the teams can reduce that risk and improve the operational control. And then finally, the filings and returns. After all the taxes have been collected or proven otherwise exempt, Clarus will file and remit those returns on our client's behalf. So there's no more cutting checks, filling out the reports, mailing them to the proper taxing jurisdictions. We'll file and remit again on their behalf. So AkuCert. This is our exemption certificate management solution that centralizes the entire certificate life cycle by allowing the organizations to digitally collect certificates, automate the renewals, validate the documentation, and really securely store records in a centralized system. So many organizations still manage tax certificates manually by using email, spreadsheets, and disconnected systems. This really creates several challenges: missing or expired certificates, the delayed customers onboarding, increased compliance risk, as well as audit exposure. So it's a significant administrative effort. So as businesses scale and these manual processes become increasingly difficult to manage efficiently, AkuCert really helps businesses reduce that manual effort while improving compliance, accuracy, and audit readiness. And I think of an exemption certificate as currency. So when I speak to accounting teams or C-levels, I always ask, would you store a check for $10,000 in a box or a folder? Probably not. And how audits work is, say an auditor was to find a $10,000 sale and had an invalid certificate resulting in uncollected tax revenue of, say, $800 or 8% for that state. That uncollected tax is calculated, say, over 36 months, which would equal $28,800. And this isn't including interest, penalties, or fines. So you just want to make sure that that liability is on your customer and not you when you're involved into an audit. So I want to take a step back prior to 2018 when there was only physical nexus. Since then, Wayfair decision resulted that businesses everywhere now need to pay attention to tax rules in every state where they sell. This appended the tax compliance landscape. So rules are constantly changing, and states are not only looking at taxable sales, but now they're also looking at the exempt sales. And one recent tax change regarding Netflix, Colorado Appeals Court has ruled now that Netflix streaming services are subject to sales tax and are now considered TPP. So if you see it and you can hear it, you can tax it. So on that note, I'm going to transition over here to the demo. And I'm going to show you the AkuCert dashboard. Can you see it okay, Amy? Yeah. I'm going to take that as a yes. So what I'm showing you here is this the AkuCert dashboard. So at a high level, I'm just going to show you how we collect, store, and validate certificates. A few key features I just do want to point out is that AkuCert is a cloud-based solution. So anywhere you have internet access, you can use AkuCert. We also offer unlimited users, so you won't get penalized on any users, as well as it's a flexible and standalone. So it also can be used as a standalone solution, or you can integrate this into another tax engine. We have had some companies have invested a lot of time and money implementing another tax engine and then realized later on it didn't meet their requirement for exemption certificates. So in those situations, just know that we can integrate directly into that tax engine. So here on the dashboard, you're going to see 4 boxes. Here there's a message center. This is just letting you know that if there's been any changes to recent exemption certificates to the rules in the states, you'll see that here. Customer document, we're going to come back to that during the presentation. Certificates expiring in the next 30 days. With Clarus, we have that pre-configured tax content, so we're going to monitor certificates if and when they're expiring. So every state's different as to if and when they expire. With Clarus, with that content, we're going to be sending emails out 90, 60, and 30 days, letting you know that that certificate is going to be expiring, so you need to get a new one on hand before it expires. It just gives you that proactive approach. Now, if they don't send you an exemption certificate, what's going to happen is they're going to apply here in this box, letting you know that that certificate has expired in the last 90 days. So this is letting you know these certificates here, these customers are being charged sales tax because they don't have an exemption certificate on file, and you want to make sure that that liability is on them and not you. So to get started with companies, how would you get your certificates in the portal? Very easy to do, where you're just going to come out here, customer certificates. This is going to push you to this screen. Now here you can import those certificates, PDF or Excel. And once you've imported those certificates, you're going to get all that detailed information here. So it's giving you all the information for your customers, letting you know where they are, what they're selling, if they're expired or if they're valid. So typically we see about a 20 to 30% chance that the information, some sort of information is out of date. So this is giving you that correct information and giving you really a strategic reset. Now, once you have all your information in here and you say, okay, I want to go through an example of this customer here has an exemption certificate. How would I get a new one? Very easy to do, where you would just come out here, click that box, if I can click it, and then go up here and then create that certificate. And what's going to happen is it's going to push you to this screen here where you'll put some information, and we're going to use Florida as an example, and we're going to say the reason is because they have an invalid certificate. Now, once I put in today's date, what's going to happen is it's going to give you an end expiration date. So this is letting you know with Florida that their exemption certificates expire every calendar year. So again, we have that pre-configured tax content, so we'll know what states and if they expire. Now, with that invalid reason, we're going to come over here and you'll see invalid reasons notes. All these notes are pre-configured, so we're going to say, okay, well, this customer here is invalid because of this state website. Once we click that, it's going to pre-populate this note. So it's letting you know what the reason is and what your customer needs to do to fix it. You can add general notes if needed, but once you save this email, it's going to go out. And then if I go up here and click email management, it's showing you here email templates. This is all pre-configured when you go through Go Live. So we'll work with you, letting you know what templates you need based off of the industries that you're selling into and what your customers are. But what will happen is your customer will get an email, and what it will look like is up here. And it's going to come down here. And these are going to be all the templates. So we're just going to use an example here and just click this, and I'm going to create. So what will happen is your customer is going to get an email, and it's going to have a link that will give them access to this site here. So they will put in their information. If they have that exemption certificate on hand, very easy to do, where they can just attach that document to the file. If they don't have that exemption certificate, they could come out here, click here, pick the state, and let's use California as an example. And let's pick the reason here, manufacturing. And when I pick manufacturing, what is going to happen is it's going to give me a note saying sample certificate format is not available. And this is letting you know is because California, they have a rule in place showing that manufacturing is not applicable for California. So they're going to have to come out here and pick another exemption certificate. And we're just going to use resale. And then what will happen then is they'll have that exemption certificate. So once they filled this out, saved it, they will send it back to you. And what will happen is it's going to let you know on the dashboard that your customer has now uploaded a updated certificate. So you would just come here, take a look at those customer documents, click on it, and then validate it. So making sure that the I's have been dotted, the T's have been crossed, that certificate is now applicable for that customer in that state, and the system will not be charging you sales tax. So I'm just going to go back here. And slide. So now this is where the aha moment is. So after everything I've shown you in the AkuCert, this is the final result and how the tax decision impacts a transaction within Great Plains. So in the bottom right section, you can see that when a customer has a valid exemption certificate on file, the tax scheduler returns an exempt status. So as a result, the sales tax calculation shows $0 is owed. So this demonstration is really the behind the scenes of how AkuCert is performing seamlessly, pushing into Great Plains, ensuring that accurate tax treatment without any manual intervention. So that concludes today's presentation. I hope you did enjoy the short overview of AkuCert and a few of the key features that on how we collect, we store, and we validate those certificates. I'd also like to add that we are offering a $100 gift card for those that set up a demo for the month of June. So if you would like to see a more in-depth demonstration on AkuCert within Microsoft, please reach out to myself or Amy.